See, what I think clearing them around the house is better because like you're in the trees, but you still have some blue sky. I mean, it is nice because I feel like it's a whole different place here.
It'll make a great rental for when we build out on our property.
If we ever get there.
Oh no, it's happening. It has to happen.
What kind of
I never signed up for monogamy. I never did.
He's been really unhappy. He's been a very unhappy person. And so it's been a lot, and it's been a challenge for our relationship.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Friday, May 17th, 2024. I want to just talk with you about how Kody Brown was the genius in the family and actually took Kody to the cleaners and was the only wife of his 4 wives that was able to leave the family with a lot of money and a future that was not as in limbo and in question in terms of like what the finances would look like. And she pounced on the opportunity to leave after he made a colossal mistake. And the mistake was made not because he wanted to make it, because he had to make it because of the tax man. And Kody Brown signed documents which signed over any claim to any minute asset that Kody owned at her home in Flagstaff. And he did this a year before she left. And it's this choice that he made, that he was forced to make, that gives me so much joy to share with you today about how it was that Kody got Kody off of her title and how it was she was able to leave with the money from the home and he couldn't do a damn thing about it. The biggest obstacle for a polygamist like Kody, or for any polygamist really, is the fact of the taxes, the tax man. There are tax laws which govern how people can live in terms of what they can have and how they can claim things for tax purposes. For instance, you can only claim 1 wife, you can only claim 1 home, you can only claim so many children. I mean, you could claim all your children if you were Kody, but he doesn't. You can only claim so many of one thing, right? You can't have 16 primary houses, even though a polygamist might think they have them, right? You cannot claim 4 wives. It's illegal. Well, Kody Brown ran into a problem, and that problem happened in Flagstaff because he, for the very first time, made the decision to go on the title of a home with a woman that he did not have a marital relationship with, and that is of the legal kind. Prior to this point in their lives, Kody had never gone on a home with one of the women that he was not legally married to without his wife in tow. So back in Lehigh, Kody and Mary and Janelle all purchased the Lehigh home together. Mary was included in the purchase. Janelle was needed for her credit and her income. Kody can never afford anything on his own without the other women. Just take note of that. So this was the very first time Kody and Kody had ever bought anything together because they've never been legally married and she's never had the income in order to contribute to buying anything. The problem with their move to Flagstaff was that they had not yet sold their homes in Las Vegas. And so when they moved from Vegas to Flagstaff, every single one of them was still paying on a mortgage in Vegas. They did not sell their properties until almost a year after they moved. The last property sold was Kody's, and that was in September of 2019. To give you a reference, Kody and Kody purchased the home that she bought in Flagstaff in the fall of 2018. So Kody had to pay 2 mortgages for about a year. So part of the problem with this move was because they had all these other mortgages, none of them could afford to buy houses. Kody ran into a problem because she has a dog and a cat, and she couldn't find a renter that would allow her to have her dog and a cat. So she ended up finding a house that she could purchase, and it wasn't super expensive for Flagstaff purposes. It was like a little over $500,000. The house was a little bit smaller than what she had in Vegas. Her home in Vegas was about 4,000 square feet. And the home that she bought in Flagstaff was about 2,800 square feet, and it was worth a little bit more money than what she had in Vegas. The homes in Vegas sold for less than what she purchased the home for in Flagstaff. So she bought a more expensive home that was smaller in Flagstaff. Because of her mortgage that she had in Vegas, she could not afford it on her own. So Kody decided that he would help her buy the house in order to get her into housing. Problem that Kody ran into was that Kody at the time was on a mortgage with Mary. He was also on a loan with Robyn on a line of credit on Robyn's house that he was also on. And then he was on all of these like mortgages, these trust agreements with the seller of Coyote Pass. So Kody helped her buy the house, and what they did was they bought it as joint tenants, and he did it as a single man, as sole and separate property. And then Robyn signed this document that said, Kody did not use any of my money to buy this house, which on the show, Kody said that Robyn helped her buy the house. So do with you will. I believe that Kody had her file a false document, and I think Kody has a pattern of filing false documents to qualify for loans that he really should not be getting because he cannot make the payments. So Christine has said on the show that Kody helping her qualify was the extent of what happened. And then once she moved into the house, Kody never helped her pay a single payment, never helped with anything in the house, never helped her with shoveling, never helped her with garbage. She was in charge of everything at the Vegas house and at the Flagstaff house. All he did was use his name to help her buy the house. By the time a year comes by and the houses have sold in Vegas, Kody then needs to scramble because his legal wife now needs a house of her own, and they have equity that they have to put into a new home, because if they don't, they'll have to take a penalty and pay it to the government. He gets into a loan with his wife, Robyn. The loan agreement that he did with Robyn, he stated that the house that he was buying with her was going to serve as his primary home. Only a year before, he told the same lender that he used the same lender for both homes. He told the lender that he had with Christine that her house was going to be the primary residence. Can you see now where the confusion might lie and why they might have had a hard time qualifying? Okay, so Kody says that the primary home is with Robyn now and it's not going to be with Christine. So we had a bit of a problem because for tax purposes, you cannot have more than one home that's listed as a primary home. So Kody, within a year of buying the house with Robyn, or about a year within buying the house of Robyn, he has to legally take himself off the home with Christine. Kody would always say on the show that the family tax return is 50 pages thick. Kody's lying. You literally cannot file tax returns with people that you don't live with, that aren't part of your family, and you can't claim as dependents. Unless he's legally married to Christine, unless he's legally married to Janelle, he cannot claim taxes with them. He can't file taxes with them. What he meant to say is, my tax returns are 50 pages thick. And what he was doing with the real estate and how he was moving properties around and how he was listed on so many different properties as a primary owner. At one point in time, he was listed as a primary owner on 4 properties, 2 in Las Vegas and 2 in Flagstaff. Kody Brown was an audit waiting to happen. And if he didn't do something fast, he would probably get picked up by the IRS for some level of fraud. So by 2020, Kody has to get rid of the primary residence with Christine, likely to keep the feds and the IRS from poking around. I'm frankly surprised he has not been, the IRS hasn't stepped in at this point, because the amount of fraud he's likely committing just with the real estate. How do you have 4 homes where you're listed as the primary residence? And why aren't county officials doing their due diligence, by the way? Or mortgage companies. I digress. So in 2020, in November, Kody signs over a document which basically tells that he is going to give the property that Christine owned with him back to Christine. Christine then, having sold her own home in Las Vegas, was able to then qualify for the mortgage herself without Kody. But what's interesting is that when Kody signed over this property to her, he didn't have to do this, by the way. This was an optional choice by him. He signed a document which was called a recording authorization. And he deeded over this property to her. He didn't say that she was paying him any money. And he wrote, "You are hereby authorized and directed to record these documents without the payment of any funds to the undersigned." He signed a document at the closing for Christine's new loan saying, that she didn't have to pay him a dime, that he was going to walk away from the property. He was authorizing her to have this property. He was authorizing the title company to basically remove any liability to him. So when Christine sold the home, she didn't have anything due to him. Like, he was clearing himself from the title, clearing himself from any of the funds, clearing himself, period. Erasing himself from the mortgage, erasing himself from the title, and saying, you don't owe me money. You can have the house. That was in November of 2020. This document that he filed is what solidified that Christine was able to walk away from this house without him getting a dime, because he signed a document saying, I'm giving you this authorization to file this warranty deed without the payment of any funds. That was a choice he had to make, because if he didn't, he would probably be arrested for some sort of tax fraud or audited. Kody's move to Flagstaff was so messy, both financially and tax purpose wise. It's shocking to me that he hasn't been arrested, by the way. I've said this again. But that was the moment that Christine was able to get away. Kody had likely tax people breathing down his necks. He has to file this document, and that's the out that she needs to go. A lot of people have said that they're surprised that Janelle wasn't the one that was financially more put together. I think Christine came from a family that was pretty astute when it came to finances. They were good at scheming, good at scamming, but she grew up with more money than some of these other people. Janelle, while she might be book smart, is easily manipulated by Kody and easily misled by him, and very easy for him to use for financial purposes. She would always put herself last, Kody first, and she didn't prepare the way that Christine did. So when that document is signed by Kody, Christine knows that she can walk away with no questions. This is why she didn't have to get a lawyer. This is why she knew that she could confidently leave. This is why she knew that if it was her house and she was making the payments and the mortgage was in her name, that he had no right to claim it, because he literally said in a filed document he was not going to take the money, period. He waived his rights to the money. So Christine ends up selling the house like a year later, and she makes a decent chunk. Like, the equity increased considerably. I think she walked away with over close to $300,000. She was able to use that money to purchase the home that she has now in Lehigh with David. She was also able to purchase a rental in Moab, probably from the money that she earned from her wedding special on TLC. Christine was able to financially maneuver and take that weak moment in time when Kody had to do something so that he didn't get caught, and then she fled. And that is a sign of someone that is waiting, lying in wait. It's my belief that Christine bought that house knowing full well that she was going to leave. It's also my belief, knowing full well that she was going to leave, that she knew at some point that Kody would have to get off that mortgage. I think because she knew that would happen, she knew that she would have the financial means to go. The biggest obstacle for women leaving polygamy is finances. Most women that leave completely broke. They leave with nothing. They're left like Janelle. But she won. Kody's taxes could still be audited, frankly, at any time. Teresa and Joe Giudice admitted to doing things that were illegal on their show, the Real Housewives. Todd Chrisley admitted to paying taxes that he never paid on an interview. He's in prison. Giudice and Teresa and Joe were convicted and took a plea deal. If Kody thinks that he is above it and he's not going to get caught and that he won't eventually get caught, he's mistaken. Why he hasn't been caught and reviewed, that I cannot say. It's obvious that he had to make that choice because of the tax purposes. The same way that now he's stuck with these legal contracts with Janelle and Mary because they have joint tenants' rights of survivorship to the property at Coyote Pass, and he cannot remove them at all. Christine got him off that property and left. And when he fought her for the money, she didn't have to give him a dime. Now, in fairness, Christine gave him the rights to her property at Coyote Pass. But equally in fairness, she didn't own this by herself. The property that she owned at Coyote Pass, she was on she was on the deed with Robyn and with Kody. Therefore, she didn't have stake in that property, and I think she knew well enough that the property was worthless. And she didn't want to build there, and she said she was done with it. He could have it. She looked at it as a trade that she would walk away with her equity and he would walk away with the equity from Coyote Pass. But she ends up becoming the winner because she absolves herself of the problem that is Coyote Pass. And she removes herself from the issues with the investments, the capital gains, and the fact that they'll never be able to sell that property. And if they do, it's going to be hard. So she gets out of a messy land deal. She gets her home. She gets her equity. And now she's got a house in Lehigh that's 4,500 square feet, nice size house. She's got a rental in Moab. She's got mortgages on both, so she doesn't owe them free and clear. But she's in a much better financial position than Kody, and she's actually making income on her rental. Kody has land that is sitting as an investment with no rent. Land is a horrible investment if you have no intention to do anything with it, because you have to keep it, you have to maintain it, you have to pay the taxes on it. If damage happens, you have to maintain the damage. With some properties like that, you have to have insurance on it. So it's not cheap to have an asset that does nothing. Christine bought a property that she was in a vacation rental community, and she's renting it out as a vacation rental. It's already a built-in community for renters, short-term rentals. Christine is the winner, and she will not be the one that ends up in bankruptcy, unlike Kody and Robyn, who will soon. So how long do you think it will be before the IRS comes knocking at Kody's door? And what do you think the charges will be? I've already discovered numerous charges they could file against him. Forgery, bank fraud, wire fraud, filing false documents with the bank. There's a litany. Kody has bankruptcy and foreclosure in his background, so don't think that he won't, if need be, not pay off his creditors the next time around if he gets in the same situation he'd happened to with the home they had years ago in Wyoming. They bleed the beast. They believe to bleed the beast. They don't care about not paying off creditors. They don't care about racking up tons of debt and leaving it to the creditors to sort out. But I think Christine has turned a new leaf and is going to do things the right way. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Are you surprised by all of this? Let me know what your thoughts are if he is going to end up in jail at some point. And do you make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click on the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.